It seems pretty safe to say that one thing we all want when it comes to Rust is some easy loot. A lot of times people build trap bases that look like free loot, but you end up dying and losing your kit, and it's frustrating. Well, today I'm going to teach you how to build one of those for yourself. Allow me to introduce what might be one of the most simplistic Rust trap bases I've ever seen or built. This trap base fuses electricity with old stability tricks to create a deadly shotgun trap base. Using the vending machine as bait, all you have to do is wait behind the window, flick the timer, that'll open the doors, and the shopper will get shredded. The shotgun traps are positioned so they break the twig and also hit the shopper. The floor spikes below the collapsing floor restrict movement, so there's literally nothing you can do if you fall in. But without further ado, let's get into this. Alright, so you're going to want to start by building the foundations out as I do here. You want 2 high foundations on either side and 2 low in the middle. Next, build 2 high triangles off of the low squares. Upgrade only one of the low squares to stone while demolishing the other, and then upgrade everything around it, and destroy the middle twig foundation where you're going to have the floor spikes. I'd recommend placing your floor spikes before placing this triangle foundation, as sometimes, depending on the tilt of the land, they don't fit in between the rest of the foundations. We need a door frame to house the vending machine, and then begin placing walls like so. Opposite from the door frame, place a window frame and begin upgrading. Next, insert your collapsing floor like so. As you can see, the stone floor breaks along with the twig. The collapsing floor is essential in any Rust trap base in my opinion. Next, place door frames on either side of the lowered foundation. Then place ceilings above everything except your collapsing floor. A roof over that section would make shoppers more weary of a trap. Place your front door in the form of a double door frame. Now add your vending machine, aka the bait. You want to make sure you disable broadcasting at this point until you're ready to start attracting visitors. I'd recommend placing your TC in this corner, although it doesn't really matter. Next, begin placing your deployables as so. You want the double door opening inwards towards the other 2 door frames. This will create an airlock on both sides, just in the event that you have anything valuable in one of these 2 rooms. Place both single doors opening inward towards their respective rooms as well. After that, it's time for part 2. The electricity for this base is relatively simple, as you only need a couple components. Realistically, you can place your timer wherever you'd like. I like it above the window so I can watch the victim suffer. Doesn't matter where you place these things, just make sure it's out of sight so people can't see it through the window. The power consumption for this configuration is extremely low, and unless you want to add something like an auto turret later on, 1 solar panel and 1 small battery should do the trick. When you're ready to place your wires, just do it as I do here. I wasn't lying when I said this was simple. Essentially all you're doing is running the power through the timer to the door controller. You can configure the timer to leave the door open for however long you'd like. Personally, I like it for 3 seconds. Once the time's up, the door will shut, stopping all entry to your base. You configure the timer by holding E over it and then tweaking it to your liking. Now we'll get on to the most important part, which is the shotgun trap placement. You have to place the trap at an angle where it'll hit both the shopper and break the twig. With this placement, the bullet spread will go both above and below the floor, hitting both the shopper and the twig, which in turn collapses the floor. You want to do this on both sides so you're covered completely. Ideally, you also want traps above and below, shooting straight. Now is when you want to place your floor spikes. I can normally get them to fit, but due to the slant of the terrain on the spot that I built, I was forced to remove a foundation in order to place the spikes. This is why I recommended that you place them before placing that triangle. Now at this point, you should have a fully functioning trap base. And as you're about to see, this thing absolutely shreds. The last thing I would recommend is that you add a couple role player items to make this base look a little more inviting and more like a role player shop instead of a trap base.